Hey everyone, welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. This is your host, Stacey Lauren. Well, guys, I love these kinds of conversations because when you get to see someone that is literally doing the thing right in front of your eyes and you get to see the momentum that's building as he's moving and inspiring people through his efforts, it's amazing to just see that grow and evolve as it continues. And so I met my next guest through a group that we're in together, and he's been posting in there and I've been seeing what he's doing on Instagram, and he's already changing lives through his Instagram channel in itself. And now he's actually going to be showing people the system that he uses to build a personal brand. So I'm really excited to talk to my next guest about his Do the Thing story and also introduce him to you guys as well. So I am welcoming Michael to the show. Hey, Michael.
How you guys doing? Thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm happy to speak and share whatever you guys are seeking.
It's so cool because I see it, I feel it like everyone does, especially in the group we're in. We're all rooting you on. And I feel like it's so cool to see this momentum. So many people get stuck in their head and stuck in whatever is going to hold them back, and just seeing you move. And as you're moving, people are literally being inspired, and then they're getting motivated and inspired to move too.
Yeah, I think we all experience that. No matter, you see people getting ahead on social media, so many times I get overwhelmed and you start questioning, should I be doing this? Am I really going in the right direction? And we're all guilty of that, even the successful people you see. But the one thing is, when that does happen, is I try to remind myself, am I just thinking? Let's just do it. Just jump in, try it. There's no reason to be thinking and trying to guess the right way or the wrong way. You find out when you do it. And that's actually the one thing I've really been learning in the 1%, the group we're in, is to make decisions. And I realize a lot of times the questions you have or the thoughts you have, the only way to find out is to do it. Just jump in, and the worst that happens is it doesn't work. And then you just try the thing that does work. And the more you do, and the faster you fail and burn through the bad ideas, the quicker you get to the good ideas.
It's amazing. We haven't even really fully started yet. I want to hear your story, and I'm already like, oh my God, this is so good. Because I feel like it's so important for people to know that what you said earlier, at each point, you could be questioning yourself, because especially as you're growing and evolving and getting out of your comfort zone, that thing of, am I doing the right thing? It comes up, and then you've moved past it. You've taken action. You've gotten the result. But then guess what? When you go to the next level, it comes up again. And I feel like there's a lot of people that might ask themselves, like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? But I think you really spoke to the fact that it's normalizing it and making sure people know that it happens to all of us, no matter who you are. You're going to have those moments where you're wondering if you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I would say for sure. The one thing is that you don't want to get stuck in it, because I've been guilty of that for the last 10 years. That has happened to me, where you spend way too much time questioning it, procrastinating. And procrastinating is not even just sitting around doing nothing. It's over analyzing, trying to over research, looking at other ideas. And lately, I'd say this last year, what really shifted over my life perspective is to focus, just to really just laser in. And I used to think I was focused, but I really wasn't, because I thought that, hey, just because I'm focusing on this one goal, I'm now doing 10 different tactics. Like, hey, I'm trying to do my social media. I'm trying to do my Instagram, my YouTube. I'm trying to do my video production business. And I was thinking, hey, all these things are related to the goal. But when you're doing 10 things, you're actually spreading yourself thin across the board, and you're actually not focused. You're distracted. And the one thing that's really helped me this year is I try to zoom out. Whenever I do get overwhelmed, I try to zoom out and just look at it from the bird's eye view. And I say, what am I really after? What is the purpose of all this? And then I look at the actions I'm doing. And then I say, is this really in line with what I'm doing? Is this really the most important thing? Is this really a priority? Or if I focus more on this, it'll bring me closer. So I put those on pause, and then I really just try to dedicate my time on that one thing. And that usually when you focus on one thing, it becomes less overwhelmed, and you're more consumed with the action and getting it done. And then when you start realizing all your energies in one place, you start getting the results a lot quicker. And that's kind of a boost of morale, especially, I would even say, the Instagram. Originally, when I started this in August, it started off as a weight loss transformation, because I was 280 pounds, rock bottom obesity. I was just in a dark place. And my goal originally was to lose 100 pounds. I wanted to create the fitness brand. And I started off I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Let's try talking about different workouts. Let's try showing different foods. Let's try talking about different weight loss failures I've had. I'm trying all these different things. And the content that I was posting wasn't really getting any response, just a few likes from friends and family. And the problem was I was all over the place. Even though I'm focused on one goal, I'm still doing all this random stuff that's not really clicking. And I want to say it's kind of like a chicken and the egg situation where it's like, in order to be focused, you have to know what you're doing. But when you're starting out, you don't necessarily know what success looks like. So I think there comes a time when you do have to try everything, but you don't want to get stuck doing everything. You want to quickly try everything, see what sticks. And then as soon as you see something kind of taken off, you got to narrow in and double down on that one thing. And that's why I originally started with these random health videos, fitness videos. And then I started doing a push-up challenge. And I noticed, hey, that's actually getting double the engagement. So I paused and stopped doing everything else. And then I kind of narrowed more on that. And then I doubled down on that challenge. And then it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then after less than 60 days, it went viral. So it just shows you by really focusing down and trying to find what works, it gets the best results.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about making the decision, right? It's like tapping into what that thing is you want to do and then deciding that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'd love to talk about it. So I'm seeing your Instagram blowing up and everyone in the group's really excited because I feel like we're seeing the momentum happening. I'd love to hear more about just that process and just even, why don't we go back to just your story in general? Tell us kind of just how all this even started. I know you mentioned you wanted to lose 100 pounds. And so obviously that was a big thing, but was there something before that that sort of elevated this?
Yeah, I would say jump back to, I'd say 2010. 2010, I was a young, ambitious kid. I just finished up school and I was actually 100 pounds lighter. Right now I'm 240, I weighed 140. So I was 100 pounds lighter. I was a skinny kid and I wanted to be a YouTuber because I saw that's when YouTube was starting to take off. And I just had no idea. I was just a young, unskilled, naive kid and I didn't know how to do anything. And I remember I was trying to make all these videos and they were just not really going anywhere. And I would do it for a little bit, and then they'd fail, and I would give up and stop doing it. And I get sidetracked with trying to make some money, do some odd jobs. And I kind of got caught up in that pattern. And every year I always found myself trying to create the content. And every year I'd stick to it, be enthusiastic for a month, but I was never truly consistent. I was just making random stuff. And that's why it was never taken off. And I kind of had that pattern across my life where I'd go extreme, where I go full 0 to 100 in like a week, and it just wasn't consistent. And I would say as a kid, I was very athletic. I was a competitive cyclist. I was very fit. I then ended up having like a small acting modeling career for a few years, a couple television shows, I did a few commercials. And back in 2016 is when I got married to my wife. I call her Mamacita. She's from Colombia. And I was a very fit actor. I had modeling gigs and I gained 100 pounds a year later because I was eating Colombian food. We were in love every day, just snacking and eating junk every day. She introduced me to plantains and yuca and chicken and rice and beans. And I got really fat. And that was the end of my acting career. And I had to switch to the other side of the camera, which was being a camera operator. So now I was shooting video, doing photos, shooting a lot of gig to gig projects and just working and working and working. And I was trying to create YouTube content about production, about lifestyle, about marriage, relationships. And it was just, again, random content. I felt like you had to just share and be real. But the problem I was making, it wasn't really leading to anything. I didn't think it through to the end. Why am I doing this? Where is it all heading towards? What is this journey? And there was really no journey. It was just throwing stuff at the wall. And sometimes the video would get like 10,000 views. Most of the time it would get like 100 views. And that was really, for me, kind of a big demotivator because I put so much effort into making these videos during my limited free time, and it didn't really take off at all. And again, I'd stopped doing the videos. And I was getting heavier and heavier, working different jobs, and your lifestyle starts to kind of inflate. You get a nice car, you get nice clothes, you try to keep up with the job you're doing. And I kind of got caught up in that lifestyle. And I'd say this 2023 in August, actually prior, 2023, I kind of got sidetracked into another business opportunity that was totally outside of media production. And it became a huge business failure, a huge lesson. And I became so fat, so burned out, so tired. And I realized, who am I doing this for? The last 10 years, I've been working, even though I've always been self-employed. I think, oh, I'm the boss. It's my business. I choose who I want to work with. It wasn't necessarily true because I was still working on other clients' projects, and I was consumed on building their brands, their channels. And I wasn't even aware of it. But the one thing that they were doing right is that even though I was creating their content, they were only doing one thing. They were only focused on one niche, whether it be real estate or fitness or medical stuff. It all was related to one topic, and it never clicked until now. And then finally, I guess, in August is when everything kind of all collapsed. That's when I realized I need to do this for myself, because I've built so many other successful brands for other people, and then they just, they move on, they go on to other things, they forget about you. And I realized I need to really go all in on myself. And that's what I did in August. I told all my clients I'm done with production, and I focused on building this fitness brand where it's me documenting my journey, losing weight. And that's now the one theme of losing the weight, fitness, self-improvement, and just sticking to that one thing really allowed me to be in tune. And now people that go to my channel, now they understand what is going on. It's an inspiration to them as well, if they're in the similar story as me.
Yeah, it's so amazing because you had that moment of who am I doing this for, right? And you were able to really tap into just what you even wanted for your life. Now, here you are inspiring other people through your actions. And I think there's something really powerful about that courage that it took you to do it. I'd love to hear about the first video. How did you actually record the first video, and the first
video, like recently during this year?
Yeah, just when you started this new thing, was that terrifying? Was it easy? What was that like for you?
Surprisingly, I was at a point in my life where I just didn't give an F. Like, I didn't give a fuck, I just didn't care anymore. Because after that failed business venture, I went and called everybody on the phone. If they could invest, if they could introduce me to somebody, and all the people I've done favors for, everybody I've gone out of the way for, none of those people could offer any type. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking, hey, can you introduce me to somebody? They couldn't even do that off. They couldn't even give me a referral. So I realized, just F everybody else. I really don't care at this point, because at the end of the day, people look out for themselves. It's as cold as it sounds. And I figured I have to really go in on myself. And I made my video, and I was kind of frustrated. I was like, listen, guys, I got so fat. I'm 280 pounds. I'm wearing triple XL t-shirts, 42 pants. I used to wear size 32. Now I'm wearing size 42. I just made that video. It was like a 5-minute long video. It's at the bottom of my Instagram somewhere, the very bottom post. And I was just kind of not venting, but I was like, guys, I've literally just let myself go, and I'm sick of it. Like, I'm tired. And I said, that's it. I'm going to do it. And it was, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but it was like, I just knew that once I make this video and I post it publicly, now I have to do it. It's like that super form of accountability where it's like, I can't, because whenever I say I do stuff, I follow through. And now this is like publicly out there, putting everything on the spot. Now it's like, I have to do it. So I would say it was like a really big kind of super push. Like, I'm pushing myself. That accountability is now, it's like, I got to do it or I'm going to look stupid. And then the other video, I think like a few videos later, not actually the next video, I took off my shirt, and it's like my super obesity. And that was a little scary, to be honest, because my family is more traditional. And when I posted that first video, my dad was like, he was actually he called me, he was with his friends watching TV, and they're all like a Russian, Ukrainian background, and they're all old school 70-year-old people. And he's on his phone, and he scrolls on Facebook, and now it's a video of me with no shirt, super obese, he's like, and his friends all see me on the phone, and he was like, what the hell is your son doing? He felt super embarrassed, and he called me. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Why did you post this stupid video? Why are you making a clown out of yourself? And I said, this is the before. I said, in order for me to build this successful brand, there needs to be a before, there needs to be a struggle. And I said, listen, you can either be part of the team or you can be not on the team. And that for me was, I had to tell him, like, listen, I'm not gonna, because a lot of times you have family and friends that try to put you down. And my family doesn't, they're not putting me down, but they're just saying out of their own instinct. And I just told them, look, I'm building this brand. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to have this. I told them exactly how it's going to be and what's going to happen. I said, you're either with it or you're not about it. So if you're not about it, next year I don't want to lose the weight, have a brand. Don't come asking to hang out with us and chill with us. So I made it very clear. So you're either with us or you're not. And he said, yeah, you're right. I'm with you. So got my family on board. Now they've been big supporters. And now they see the channel growing. The first few months, they didn't really see much of a difference. I was trying all these things. I could see they were a little bit kind of like, oh man, are you sure you're doing this? But now it's really blowing up. Now I'm like an overweight athlete. So things are taking off. So I guess the long story short, all your haters, all the naysayers, they will eventually become your number one fans.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so curious. So when your dad said that to you, how did you have that conviction? Where did that come from? Did you tap into that before that moment where you knew that you were just doing the right thing? Or when he started questioning you, was there any part of you that was like, oh, I hear what he's saying and now I'm scared?
I've always been I was a very rebellious teenager. If my parents told me to do something, I would do the opposite. And when you do that early on in life, it's a very hard life. It's an uphill battle going against the grain, going uphill. And I was very rebellious in school, very rebellious with everything. I never listened to authority. And most of the time that bites you in the ass, you're going to have a very hard time. But I guess the difference was this time, instead of just defying it what I'm trying to say is in the past, I would obliviously defy it without really thinking it through and just try my own way. But this time, I've seen because I follow all these other Instagram accounts, and I've seen guys that were 350 pounds, 400 pounds, and I've been following them for the last 2-3 years. And now these guys have built incredible brands. They're super lean and ripped. They even inspired me. And I was like, if these guys can do it, then I can do it. So I've seen it from other people. And that's why it's so important to put it out there and share that on social media, because you never know who you're going to inspire. Like I got inspired. This guy, Bishoy Kella, I saw him like 2 years ago. And he doesn't even know me, but I saw him 2-3 years ago and he was like 350 pounds. And I was like, damn, this guy is super morbidly obese and he's now doing it. I got to do it. So I just knew that there was a proven concept of it. And then even joining our group, the 1%, I've seen so many people that aren't tech savvy, aren't computer out like social media savvy, but they're figuring it out and they're making it happen. And I said, if somebody else can do it, I can do it. So you got to believe it.
Yeah. And you're doing something where every time you get a new follower, you do a new step or something. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my challenge that recently blew up, went viral, was I call it the Super Stair Step Challenge, where I'm doing one step for every one follower. And to be honest, I didn't think it'd blow up so quick. Originally, I was thinking I'd get like 20, 50 people a week, and I'd be like doing a gradual workout. And then one week I get 15,000 followers, and it became insane, where it's now to the point where it's maybe doing it like once a week. It's very hard. It's very time consuming. It's very mentally and physically miserable. You're literally just walking on the step in a circle 16,000, 17,000 times. And it takes like 5 hours to do. So right now I'm at a point where last week or two, I did get overwhelmed because I was trying to I'm actually finishing the 75 hard challenge. I'm on day 70. I have 5 days left.
Oh, congratulations.
Challenge. Thank you. I'm trying to build a personal brand course, and I was doing all this different stuff. And I had to pause and zoom out. And I figured, you know what? Right now, let's finish the course. Let's maybe pause the production value, because I was making these really super edited 75 hard videos that had a story, very produced. And I don't know if you've noticed in the last 2 weeks, the production quality has really kind of went down. That's because I've been focusing on my course. So I said, you know what? All that stuff will come, but let's pause the 75 hard. Let's come back to the stair step challenge where I'm doing my personal brand course. And it's become like a weekly thing right now, where I'm just once a week, I'll go and do it. I'm trying to work smarter. I'm trying to figure out how to do one shoot, but maybe get 10 to 20 pieces of content from that one shoot. So work a little bit smarter. So that's kind of the aim now.
Yeah, I think it's important for you guys to hear this, because Michael's in the middle of doing the thing, right? And this is all new where you're coming up with it. And so every step isn't pre-calculated. You're sort of figuring it out as it goes and then following wherever your momentum is leading you. And I love that. I think that's so great. I think it's good that you're kind of being able to say, okay, I'm going to stop this and focus on this. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of people think they need to have this whole entire plan all ahead of time, figure it all out. But it's just what you're showing is that fact of figuring things out as you go is totally an amazing do the thing strategy.
I think you have to, because Before, like 3, 4 years ago, I used to try to plan everything. I'd spend all the time writing and trying to weigh everything out, overanalyzing it. And you could create the best game plan in the world, but now once you actually put it into play in real life, things start to happen. It never goes your way. So I think you have to just kind of run with the ball. I think it's important to know where you're trying to get to, but how you get there is not important. You'll figure it out as long as you just go out there and make it happen. You got to just figure it out.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about when you're coming up with these ideas, where do they come from? So even that stair step challenge. So where are those things coming from?
Looking at other creators, I'd say before I go into that, there's a book called How to Steal Like an Artist. It's like one of the best books for creatives. You don't actually steal other people's stuff, but it teaches you how to kind of model and get ideas. Because, if you think about it, everything in life has been modeled after something else and you slightly improve it. So definitely worth reading that book, How to Steal Like an Artist. And what I do now is I just go on Instagram. I go look at people that are already doing it, that are already making it work. They're getting a ton of engagement. And then I try to see I don't want to copy them and do what they're doing. I try to see how could I try that concept and make it better or add my own take to it. So how do I come across a stair step challenge? There was this kid from Arkansas who actually I hired as a mentor. It's actually another topic of why you should always hire people that are doing stuff above you and learn from them. But he was an 18-year-old kid in Arkansas and he was going viral. He's almost got like 700,000 views and he was doing one step for every follower. And I remember I found his page when he had like maybe 20,000 followers and he was walking 20,000 inches or whatever. He was walking 1 inch for every follower. So when he started his videos, he was walking like 300 inches, which is like, I don't know, 3 feet or something, 4 feet. It was kind of funny where it's like, you see this kid, he's getting all worked up and then he walks like 5 feet and the video is over. And it's like, all right. And he does this for a week and his account's not really growing. And it's like, all right. But then if you look at his videos, Chewy Thompson, he all of a sudden gets like 10,000 followers in a day. And now he just went from walking like 10 feet to now walking 100 feet. And then it went to all of a sudden the next day, 50,000 followers. And this kid really blew up. And now he's walking like 10, 12 miles a day. And it really kind of took off for him. So when I saw his challenge, that's how I got the idea for my super push-up challenge, which is doing 1 push-up for every 100 followers. And when I did that, I got not as great of a response as him. It's not as scary because 100, I was only doing like 7 push-ups. So it's not really that intimidating. It's not that like, oh my, if it was 1 push-up per every follower doing 700 push-ups, that's kind of like, oh my God, that's a lot of push-ups. Yeah. So I did that challenge for 30 days and it was whatever, it went up. But then I figured out how could I make it even more? And then I did the 75 hard and then elevated even more. But then how it led to the stair step challenge is actually by accident. My wife and I were going for one of our daily walks. And I was always thinking in the back of my head, because he kept messaging me on WhatsApp. He's like, hey bro, like when are you going to do a follower challenge? You need to do it. You need to do it. And I have this kid, this 18-year-old kid. These kids are so smart now. I'm 31 years old. This kid's telling me, he's like, listen, man, you got to get on this. I have a little 18-year-old kid motivating me on WhatsApp. He's like, bro, you got to make the challenge already. Start. And it was already January 1st. And he's been messaging me for a month. And I'm like, damn, I got to do this. I keep telling him. And I was like, all right. So one day, my wife and I are walking down the street through the park, and I see these small little steps, little staircase, like 7 steps. Mm-hmm. And then I just crosses my mind for a second. I was like, what if I just do 1 step for every follower? It's so easy, but it could get so hard. And it looks so ridiculous of just walking in a circle. So my wife was like, yeah. And also it was right next to our house. So I didn't have to go walk far away. Yeah. So I said, okay, let's do it. So we ended up just doing it for 1 day. And the video got, I don't know, like 1,000 views. It was like, whatever. Then I did it again, got like another 1,000 views. And it was nothing crazy. And I thought, okay, cool. It's actually, I look at my Apple Watch and it's like, oh, I burned 700 calories. This is a great workout. If I do this, I'm going to actually reach my goal of my Instagram of the 100 pounds. And I'll just be walking on the steps. This is incredible. So on day 3, the video ends up going viral and it gets to like 600,000 views. And I'm like, holy shit. Oh my God. So it went from like 3,000 to like 5, and then it blew up. And then I was like, oh my God. Now it really became really kind of insane to do. It's really unsustainable at this point, but it's a good problem to be figuring out.
Yeah, it would be fun if you had your followers in on it where they could do part of your steps. People that maybe want to lose weight too, you could have them vote on who's actually going to record themselves doing steps.
Yeah, and I've tried to encourage people. I say, hey guys, get in on it, tag me, just go find a staircase. So I don't know if anybody's ever done it yet, but you're welcome to get in and join the stair step challenge.
It's awesome. Okay, so share now, because now you're taking it to another level, which is great. You've created this system, you've vetted it, and now you're going to teach people. I'd love to hear what you're doing in terms of helping people create a personal brand.
So when it comes to building a personal brand, what I've noticed over the last beginning of YouTube is I followed so many people that started off at nothing. And I'm sure you've also watched channels and creators that start off with 100 or 1,000 subscribers or followers. And then all of a sudden, a year or two later, they're at 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and they built these incredible brands. And I see they're talking about stuff, they're being consistent, but it finally clicked this year. What they're all really doing is sharing their journey. They're sticking to one theme. And the journey is really just one goal. And it's, everybody has a goal. Like, oh, everybody wants to, make money, have a family, and be happy. What I mean by goal is overcoming something that's really been bothering you your entire life. Maybe you're like me and you're overweight. That's something I've been dealing with my entire life. I've lost the weight, I've gained the weight. Maybe you've never had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you break up after a week, or maybe you can't hold down a job, or maybe you just don't have any skills and that bothers you. So I think to really build the journey is to find that one thing that's really just bothering you, that keeps you up at night. And now your journey is to overcome it and get to the end, to go from A to Z, get to the finish line. And that's when I realized, wait, that's exactly what these influencers are doing. They're documenting their journey. They start off as broke kids, and now they're running 10-figure multimedia agencies and doing all this crazy stuff. And what I started doing was really noticing these patterns, seeing these concepts, and putting it into a course, trying to create this course where regular people that don't necessarily have camera skills, or they're public speakers, they can just tap into their own life experience, their own challenges, and share how they're overcoming this goal to really create a brand that resonates with people that are like them. And that's what I found with doing the 75-part challenge, is I had so many people that were also men in their 30s, that were also former athletic, that were in accidents, and now they're overweight. And they were like, oh my God, bro, keep it up, bro. Like, very inspirational, even for both of us. And it was crazy, because when you start sharing your own challenges and obstacles, you start attracting all the people that are on the same journey. And then you become kind of a lighthouse for them. You kind of become an inspiration for them. They push you, and you both kind of go up. And what happens is you build this personal brand. You start growing. You start meeting all these people. I've probably met over 100 people now. We've had great conversations. I even met like a few of them off of Instagram. You start making great connections all around the world, great friends, and then business opportunities, and ultimately you make an income. So I'm creating this short course to kind of condense over a decade of knowledge, and finally the results that I used of how I went viral, how I was able to create these videos, and I share it with you guys in this course that I'm currently almost done finishing.
It's amazing, because we talked even before about that idea of not just helping people create a channel, you're helping them really tap into who they are. So then that's being able to attract those people that are really tied into that message of the deepest part of the person.
Yeah.
So is that what your goals are now? Is you're just basically, you've got your Instagram and you're continuing to document your journey, and until, just through this weight loss process. And then through that, now you're creating the system, helping other brands be able to elevate in the same way you did?
Yeah. So my goal at the end of this year is to lose the 100 pounds and be the example, be the proof in the pudding, and use that as the ultimate case study, the proof in the pudding that what I'm teaching works, because I've done it for myself, and ultimately become fully remote, fully autonomous. I want to be totally independent, where I can work off of sole Instagram course revenue. I'm trying to grow my account to 1 million followers by the end of this year, doing challenges, getting sponsors, and selling digital products. Mm-hmm. So that's my ultimate goal by the end of this year. And then teaching people how they can do it for themselves.
Yeah, it's cool, because then all of a sudden you're teaching people, and then you're getting to see them grow because of something that you were able to do. I just think that's the coolest thing, is when you get to see the impact of people visibly.
Yeah. And I would just say the one big thing is, especially when you're a content creator starting out, it's a lot of time. This is a full skill. It's not how it was 5 years ago, where you just post and it goes viral. Now you really have to know how to shoot, how to edit, how to do all these little things. And it takes time. And now it's like, in order to really dedicate to doing content, you need to learn these skills, and everybody has responsibilities and obligations. They all got full-time work. So my course, I'm really trying to just shorten this all down to 2-3 hours. You just give you what you need to focus on, cut out all the noise, and just go on one track. And what really helps for me, especially, I really want to get this thing out there and get it moving and producing something, because now it'll allow me to focus on the content, while also the more I grow, the more it validates my course, and the more people can get my course and learn the proven techniques that I'm doing, and then they can improve their own situation. So it's kind of an ultra win-win in all directions. That's got to be mutual. Both got to be going up.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest thing that you are tapped into to be able to get through all these things that you're doing? I want to kind of actually go back to the beginning, what you were saying with sometimes it can ask yourself if you're doing the right thing and if this is really what you should be doing. How do you really move through that noise that gets in the way?
So when I start to get overwhelmed, it happens at least maybe once a month. You really kind of think like, am I really doing the right thing? So when this happens, I'll just turn off my phone and I'll go for a walk with my wife for a few hours. We'll breathe some fresh air. It's really important to have a supportive partner who sees the vision with you. And when I get back home, we take out the good old notepad, the good old pen and paper, and we just write out a simple pros and cons list of what we're currently doing. And then we look at that list and we say, is this really aligned with what we're after, what we're really trying to get to? And then even if the stuff you're doing, you think it makes sense, I start really asking myself, why are we doing this one thing? When you start asking yourself, why, and you start digging deeper and deeper, you already know the answer yourself. Once you get to that answer, you start thinking, hey, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't the most important activity right now. Maybe I should actually go all in on this. And that, just by the process of elimination and cutting out, being able to say no and just refine down to the one thing, that really has helped me to get back on track.
Okay, Michael, the time is here. What is your number one piece of advice for people on doing the thing?
Number one piece of advice to do the thing. I say you got to believe in yourself. And as long as you have it in here and you go at it every day, you're going to get there. And I'd say that's the number one thing, is believe in yourself and go out there and make it happen.
Thank you so much for coming on. This was incredible. I feel like you just provided so much value in this time.
Thank you. It was great talking to you, and hopefully we'll be in touch, and I'll see you around.
And for you guys, do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it. And hey, have you checked out my Facebook group yet? Go to dothethingcommunity.com.